Hello and welcome to the Grumpy Old Man Podcast. I don't profess to know everything, nor do I think my ideas are the only right ideas. I'm sure there's plenty I don't know and haven't yet thought about. I'm here to learn too, so please share your thoughts and observations. This podcast is all about me sharing my thoughts, opinions, and observations, pointing out things that are hidden in plain sight, things that once considered probably seem totally obvious. I'm not a doctor or a psychologist. I'm just a grumpy old man. Well, I'm not really that old, but most people probably do consider me to be quite grumpy. There are a lot of things with the direction our world is headed that I find reasons to complain about. This is one of them. I'm Harvard Schmarvard, and this is Season 1, Episode 2, Brainwashing. What do you think is the purpose of a TV commercial? Is it to inform you about some product or service that you weren't aware of? Is it to explain why one company's product is better than their competition? Is it in any way for your benefit? After all, you are the one spending your time watching it. Well, it's not about providing you with something useful or desirable at all. If you believe it is, then they have successfully fooled you. It is actually flipped around 180 degrees. TV commercials, actually every form of advertising, are solely for the greedy benefit of the producer, not for you. Have you ever watched some show where a commercial for the exact same thing has been played over and over and over? If it was something you were truly interested in, wouldn't you have gotten the message the first time? Repetition is one of the tricks they leverage to get you to believe you need to buy something that you don't really need or want. Does anyone really need socks with a strand of metal in them? Are they any better than a normal pair of socks? All I wanted was to see today's weather, but I've been told over and over by some old football player that these are somehow magical. After being assaulted like this over and over, I'm either going to give in and buy them or turn off the weather program and check the app on my phone instead. Oh, wait a minute. There are ads plastered all over the phone app too. Ugh. We don't seem to use the word propaganda much these days. When heard, we think of some old tactic used by nefarious governments to spread lies and dupe their population into believing untruths. Well, it is alive and well right here in modern America. The real message I am trying to spread is not propaganda. It's simply asking you to take a moment to think about what is really going on before you open your wallet or cast your vote. We are coming into election season and there will be thousands of commercials telling you who to vote for. Ever notice how they tell you what you want to hear before the election, but then if they win, they do something completely different and somehow get away with it? Listen to what they tell you. Take the time to consider if it really makes sense or if it is just a ploy to obtain your vote. I know this is not an easy one. Both sides are full of liars and BS artists. There is really no good choice sometimes, just the lesser of two evils. Pressure is another tactic used to convince you to act without thinking. Limited time offer, sale ends tomorrow. Car salesmen are notorious for this approach. If you ever feel this type of pressure, walk away. Walk into another car dealer the next week or next month and see. You'll get the same deal and the same pressure to act quickly. Take your time. Don't be fooled by how glamorous a commercial may look either. Search for the underlying truth that they are not talking about. Two prime examples of this come to mind. Alcohol commercials always depict the rosy side of drinking. Beautiful friends, sharing a drink and laughing, having fun. A well-placed image of a glass or bottle of their stuff. Is this really necessary? Couldn't you just go to a liquor store and buy what you want? Well, they have statistics that tell them that running an ad over and over will stick in your mind and result in more sales. Casinos and online betting sites are another. They always look fancy, luxurious, exciting. Worse, they often imply that you will win. Some use the pressure gimmick too. Your first bet is free. Sign up today. Here's a couple of observations on these two. Both typically have very small disclaimers at the bottom of the screen that are usually hard to read. If they are spoken, they're super fast and at lower volume. Phrases like, please drink responsibly, or if you have a gambling problem, call blah, blah, blah. Have you considered the other side of this fake glamour? Turn on an episode of Cops, search police body cameras on YouTube, watch court TV or Law and Crime. An overwhelming amount of the bad stuff happening all around you is by individuals abusing alcohol. The commercials don't show you that part. Do you know how many auto fatalities occur each year as a result of driving while impaired? It's easy to find. Check NHTSA.gov. Every single day, about 37 people in the United States die in drunk driving crashes. That's one person every 39 minutes. In 2021, 13,384 people died in alcohol-impaired traffic deaths. Ever see that explained on a commercial? Have you ever thought about how extravagant casinos usually are, especially in places like Las Vegas? Ever wonder where all the money comes from to build such places? Still think everyone is a winner? Ever wonder why every state has jumped on this bandwagon with a lottery? Because it is a guaranteed moneymaker. At that scale, the odds are totally predictable. It is simply a tax on people who are bad at math. It's not just TV. This epidemic has spread everywhere. Sports stadiums are now named after some corporation, pro and college. Look at race cars, every inch covered with a sponsor as much as they can sell. Pay-per-view MMA fights might be one of the worst offenders. First, you, the spectator, pay $80 for 3 hours of entertainment. But then you find that there are ads everywhere, on the floor, around the arena. The announcer tells you the show you paid for is brought to you by some beer. Wait a minute. If it's brought to me by them, why did I have to pay for it? It was brought to me by me. Games on your phone are not even challenging. A 5-year-old could complete a level. Why? So they can jam another ad in front of you between levels. Inventing truly fun and challenging games is hard. But luckily for them, that is not what they are doing. They are just providing another ad delivery mechanism. Oh, but if you pay, then we can suppress the ads. Last month, I was flabbergasted by a repetitive announcement on a music app that this ad-free day was brought to me by some cellular provider. Wasn't that in itself an ad? So then it's not really ad-free. Somebody needs a dictionary. Think about that one. There are a few items that come to mind that I have never seen a commercial for. They don't need to trick you, dupe you, or brainwash you because their product is actually good. Have you ever seen a commercial for Tesla? Real food items, tomatoes, peaches, watermelons, lettuce. I've never seen a commercial just for peanuts, but I have seen plenty telling me to buy a certain brand of peanut like it could somehow be better. But they never actually say why or how it's better. We buy them even without commercials. Amazon became huge first and then started running commercials. I'm still not sure why. This makes me feel like commercials should actually have the opposite effect. If an item really is good, it doesn't need the repetition, pressure, and propaganda. It doesn't need an ad. If you see an ad, especially one that is shown over and over, steer clear. Don't buy that thing. It's probably junk. Okay, I could probably ramble on about this topic forever. I might even have to come back to it again in a future episode. But for now, I just want to address one last thought. I do not want to be a hypocrite and profit from this podcast with ads or sponsors. I am doing this entirely on my own time. It's a lot to do. I was hugely annoyed when some podcasts became exclusive on certain platforms. That is not what this forum is about. It's just corporate greed rearing its ugly head in another way. But I do want to share my thoughts and opinions with as wide of an audience as possible. So, if this podcast is any good, it should spread by your word of mouth. If you like it, please help me by giving a rating and telling your friends. See you next time when I rant on about the next thing that's stuck in my craw.